Little Red Riding Hood, a magical tale. Once upon a time, in a small and peaceful village at the edge of a wide green forest, there lived a sweet little girl. She was cheerful, curious, and loved by everyone in her village. But what made her even more special was the bright red cloak she wore everywhere she went. The hood of the cloak framed her little face, and it had been sewn with love by her grandmother. Because she wore it so often, everyone began to call her Little Red Riding Hood. One sunny morning, Little Red Riding Hood's mother called her into the kitchen. The smell of warm cookies filled the air, and on the wooden table lay a small basket covered with a white cloth. "Darling," her mother said gently, "your grandmother has been feeling unwell these past few days. I baked some cookies for her and gathered fresh herbs from the forest. Would you take them to her?" The girl's eyes sparkled. "Of course, Mommy, I'd love to." Her mother leaned down, brushed a strand of hair from her daughter's face, and added, "Remember, my dear, the forest can be tricky. Go straight to Grandma's house and do not wander off the path, no matter how tempting the forest may look. Do you promise?" "I promise, Mommy," Little Red Riding Hood said with a smile. And with that, she picked up the basket, pulled her red hood snugly over her head, and skipped off toward the forest. Into the bunny forest, the forest path was wide at first, lined with tall trees whose branches swayed in the soft breeze. Birds chirped sweet songs, and shafts of sunlight peeked through the leaves. Little Red Riding Hood hummed happily as she walked, her cloak fluttering behind her. La, la, la. What a beautiful day to visit Grandma, she sang. After a while, the path led into what the villagers called the bunny forest. Her mother had spoken of it many times. "Stay on the road in the bunny forest, sweetheart," her mother's words echoed in her mind. She looked around curiously. "I wonder why they call it the bunny forest," she thought aloud. "I haven't seen a single bunny yet." Then, all at once, she noticed something flowers. The path curved into a small clearing where wildflowers bloomed in every color she could imagine, yellow like the sun. Her eyes widened. "Oh, Grandma would love these. I'll pick just a few." She placed her basket carefully on the ground and began plucking flowers one by one. The sweet fragrance filled the air, and she forgot about the time. Slowly, step by step, she wandered farther away from the main path. As Little Red Riding Hood gathered the flowers, a rustling sound came from the bushes nearby. She froze. The leaves shook, and suddenly out stepped a tall, gray figure. It was the wolf. Little Red Riding Hood gasped and dropped her basket. The cookies tumbled onto the ground. The wolf moved closer, his golden eyes shining. But instead of snarling or snapping, he bent down, picked up the cookies, and gently placed them back into the basket. "Here you go, little one," the wolf said in a surprisingly kind voice. Little Red Riding Hood blinked in surprise. "Oh, thank you," the wolf gave a toothy smile. "And where might you be going on this fine morning, little girl?" "To my grandmother's house," she answered innocently. "It's the yellow house at the end of this forest. She isn't feeling well, so I'm bringing her cookies and herbs." "Ah, how sweet of you," the wolf said smoothly. "You are such a thoughtful granddaughter." Then, lowering his voice, he added, "Why don't you keep picking those lovely flowers? I'll run ahead and let your grandmother know that you're coming. That way she'd be ready to greet you." Little Red Riding Hood hesitated. "Really? That's very kind of you." But just as she was about to thank him, a loud crack echoed through the forest, a gunshot. The wolf's ears twitched, and his eyes darted nervously. Without another word, he turned and sprinted into the trees. Little Red Riding Hood clutched her basket tightly. For the first time, she realized she had strayed far from the path. She spun around, unsure which way to go. Tears welled up in her eyes. Hearing her quiet sobs, a tall man with a kind face and a rifle slung over his shoulder stepped out from behind the trees. He wore a green coat and a wide-brimmed hat, "What are you doing here all alone, little girl?" he asked gently. "The forest can be dangerous." I was on my way to my grandmother's house," she sniffled, "but I lost my way, and I think I met the wolf." The hunter's eyes narrowed. "The big bad wolf? I've been tracking him for a long time." Little Red Riding Hood looked down in shame. "Mommy told me not to leave the road, but I picked flowers and—" Her voice trailed off. The hunter softened his tone. "Don't worry, child. You're safe now. Come, I'll walk you to your grandmother's house." Hand in hand, they set off together along the proper path. Meanwhile, the wolf had run swiftly through the forest, taking shortcuts he knew well. Soon, he reached the little yellow cottage with the thatched roof grandmother's house. He knocked on the door. From inside, a frail voice called, "Who is it?" The wolf cleared his throat and answered in a high-pitched tone, "It's me, Grandma Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you cookies and herbs from the woods." "Oh, how lovely," the grandmother replied. "The door is open, my dear. Come right in." The wolf smirked, pushed the door open, and slipped inside. A little while later, Little Red Riding Hood and the hunter reached the cottage. The hunter gave her a reassuring smile. "Go on, little one. Your grandmother will be so happy to see you." "Thank you, Mr. Hunter," she said. The hunter nodded and walked back into the forest, rifle resting on his shoulder. Little Red Riding Hood knocked gently on the door. "Who is it?" A voice called from inside. "It's me, Grandma Little Red Riding Hood. The door is open, my darling. You can come in," came the reply. She paused. Something about the voice sounded different, deeper, scratchier. But then she reminded herself, Grandma is sick. That must be why her voice sounds strange. She pushed open the door and stepped inside. The room was dim, the curtains drawn. On the bed lay her grandmother, wearing a nightcap and glasses. "Thank you for bringing me food, darling," the figure said. "Come closer so I can give you a hug." Little Red Riding Hood set the basket on the floor but stayed back. Something didn't feel right. "Grandma," she said slowly, "why are your arms so long?" "So that I can hug you better," the wolf answered smoothly. "And why are your ears so big?" "So that I can hear you better." "And why are your eyes so large?" "So that I can see you better." Little Red Riding Hood's heart pounded. "But, Grandma, why are your teeth so sharp?" The wolf's smile widened. "So that I can eat you better." With that, he leapt out of the bed and lunged at her. "Help! Help me!" Little Red Riding Hood screamed, backing away. The hunter, who had not gone far, heard her cries. He rushed back, burst through the cottage door, and saw the wolf about to pounce. "You again," the hunter roared. "I've finally caught you, wicked wolf." He raised his weapon, but instead of firing, he grabbed the wolf and tied him with a strong rope. Then, carefully, he cut open the wolf's belly and out popped Grandma safe, though a little shaken. "Oh, thank heavens," Grandma cried. "You saved us." Little Red Riding Hood hugged her tightly. "I was so scared, Grandma." The hunter smiled kindly. "You're safe now. But remember, little girl, always listen to your mother's advice." "I will," Little Red Riding Hood said, nodding solemnly. Grandmother wasted no time. She ate the warm cookies with delight, sipped the herbal tea, and soon felt much better. As for the wolf, the hunter did not let him go free without punishment. Instead, the wolf was made to work in the forest clearing paths, planting flowers, and helping the woodland animals. One bright morning, some days later, Little Red Riding Hood walked through the bunny forest again. This time, she stayed carefully on the path, singing a cheerful tune. To her surprise, she spotted the wolf sweeping leaves and gathering sticks. His head hung low in shame. "I'm sorry, Little Red Riding Hood," he said quietly. "I will never trick anyone again." She smiled kindly but kept her distance. "I hope you've learned your lesson." The forest soon filled with the laughter of children, the hopping of bunnies, and the fragrance of flowers. Peace returned, and Little Red Riding Hood never forgot the promise she had made, to always listen and never stray from the safe path again. And from that day on, the bunny forest became a place of joy and harmony once more. The end.